Hey folks, this clip is brought to you by Farm Bureau Health Plans. For better coverage, better rates, and better service, go to fbhp.com/ATOZ. That is Farm Bureau Health Plans.
So with these injuries, we already talked about Joe. We think he's going to be all right, but not 100%. Is what it seems like. Just judging from everything that's been said, he got, supposedly got the MRI over the weekend or on Monday. All right, but maybe not 100%. We hope that he can run at full bore because it's such a big element when you see how effective it was on that opening drive for Tennessee and some things like that. But the one that everybody's wondering about is Cooper Mays. Every single week, it's been, can Cooper play? Can Cooper play? Can Cooper play? Can Cooper play? It does look like this week, from everything that we've heard, it is likely that he will play. Now, some of the stuff that we've seen is that it may be spotty. It may be kind of a working him in and getting his feet back under him from being out for 6 weeks. Now, I mean, you're going on like 7 weeks at this point, I think, from when he had that surgery, reportedly. And so, he's going to be rusty. But at the same time, probably, just knowledge-wise, football IQ-wise, it's probably there more with Cooper, even if he's not 100%. It's probably there more just because he was your center all of last year through your great run and with Hooker and everything. He just knows that offense more. And the guys that you've been playing in that position, that's not their natural position, or at least the position that Heupel wants them to be playing in. And so, with all that said, do you think that Cooper supposedly, hopefully coming back in this game will make a big difference?
I mean, I'm assuming he's going to play. Like, I know we've kind of went over that a little, but like, I'll believe it when I see it type deal. I think he'll make a difference, just like you said, the communication aspect. I mean, that's been a huge part of it. I feel like is just kind of getting everybody where they need to be on the offensive line. I don't know really how the center and the quarterback really work in tandem in Tennessee's offense. Everything's moving so fast. I think they might kind of independently have to be on the same page without really knowing it. But even then, that's a huge. I mean, Cooper knows this offense way better than Ollie Lane as far as operating it, way better than Dane Davis. So that will be a huge, bonus getting him back if he does indeed play. But the continuity there, how does that? I mean, we've seen before in not just football, every sport. Sometimes when you're bringing a guy back and you've kind of been getting into this rhythm, it's almost like it starts over. Does that cause any issues for Tennessee's offense? I wouldn't think so, because the offensive line play it's been pretty rough, to this point. Even guys that we thought would be, a little bit stronger haven't, like Spradians has had some kind of tough moments there that we've seen, as well as the left. Pretty much the whole interior has not been great early this season. So bringing Cooper back has to elevate that play a little bit, but how much? I don't know. It's just so hard to say without knowing how effective he'll be, how many snaps he's going to play. How in shape is he? I mean, I'm sure he's been working out and trying to stay active. But that was a pretty, Volquest reported it was a triple hernia surgery with an abdominal tear. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but that sounds pretty intensive. Like, I mean, yeah, you would have a little more insight on that. But it's understandable if they would have told us that in August, and I know the rumors were out there, right? The rumblings, the message board rumors, and all this kind of stuff, and the hints. But if they would have just came out straight up second week of August and said, "Hey, Cooper Mays had to have a procedure done that was kind of unrelated to a football injury, maybe, or however you want to frame that. He's going to be out maybe the first month of the season. We're not really sure how that recovery goes. It's going to be kind of take it week by week once we get into the season. I think the whole drama of this, like, why isn't Cooper playing? What happened? Is he choosing not to play? Why won't he go out there? Like, all this stuff that nobody really knows, because we're all speculating. Like, really, Cooper Mays is the one that knows the most, and then those very close to him, the conversations that have happened, could have avoided all of that by just kind of putting it out there. And I don't see that keeping this information away from your opponent really gives you that much of an advantage. I mean, Florida prepared like Cooper Mays was going to play because Josh Heupel talked like he was going to play. I don't think that really impacted Florida's game plan at all, or the way that their defense attacked Tennessee's offense at all. I think you prepare for Cooper. If he's not there, then hey, maybe it'll be easier on us today. I feel like that's probably the mindset that most of these teams have. So I don't think the gamesmanship thing. Like at some point, that's going to get old. I mean, for your opponents, and I know everybody does it to some extent. Jimbo Fisher does it at Texas A&M all the time, but I think he put Cooper kind of in a bad spot with that, and maybe Cooper asked him not to say anything. Like we really, again, that's why I haven't speculated a ton on it up until this point, because we just don't know what conversations happen. We don't know what Cooper asked. We don't know if Heupel decided to handle it one way or wanted to handle it a different way and just couldn't because of Cooper's wishes. Like we don't know any of that. So I don't know. I just felt like from the start, Tennessee probably could have handled that differently.
I agree. I mean, after I found out some of the supposed details of that entire situation, I've in my day jobs when I haven't been in media full time, I've been around healthcare and even weirdly, specifically around guys that did hernia surgeries for a time. And yeah, I mean, it's a routine procedure. Even an abdominal tear is a lot of the time, unless just, a crazy abdominal tear or a puncture wound or something. But the thing is that with the nature of what he's doing, you think about that motion where you're lifting up and stretching your abdomen like that to play center in college football against some of the, biggest dudes in the sport in the SEC. Yeah, I mean, that's not exactly an ideal situation. Even Kyle here in the comments, he said, I had a hernia fixed, and it sucks. It absolutely does. And so after I heard the nature of that, I was like, okay, it's actually kind of understandable that it's taken him this long to get back, multiple hernias and an abdominal tear. Then the abdominal tear most likely came from the hernias, if you know the nature of a hernia. But regardless,
Farm Bureau Health Plans has been serving Tennesseans for over 75 years, and much has changed in Tennessee over the years, but some has stayed the same. Farm Bureau Health Plans has always valued personal relationships, especially when it comes to good health and good service. Plan on Farm Bureau Health Plans for health, dental, and vision. For better coverage, better rates, and better service, go to fbhp.com/ATOZ or walk into one of their 200 plus locations across the state of Tennessee. That is fbhp.com/ATOZ. Farm Bureau Health Plans.
And so I would bet that it's split reps. And honestly, that could be interesting because you'll actually see the juxtaposition of, oh, here's how it is with Cooper and here's how it is with not Cooper, and so maybe you'll get to see those kind of side by side and actually get to compare them against an SEC defense, that's not exactly amazing, but I believe they are dead last in the league in multiple categories, South Carolina. But regardless, I think it could be big getting him back because, as you said, the psychological element of having a guy that just knows that position in this offense better, and that could be big. We'll see.
Yeah,
now,
and hopefully it helps your depth too.
It's true. Yes,
because kind of like Ollie Lane was going to have that left guard spot early on, didn't it?
Yep. And so, Carrick has been doing his best, has been trying, but not exactly killing it at that position. And so, yeah, I mean, I think if you could get guys back in the positions that they want to be in and get Mays back from surgery, that'd be nice. Now, you also have some other considerations. Kyle says here in the comments, hope that Nico Slaughter comes back. Yeah, I think that would be nice. You also have, I mean, what have we heard on Ramel Keaton? Is he?
I think he's probably the most up in the air of the receivers. So, I mean, I imagine.
Seems like everybody else probably could be all right.
I'm betting that Josh Heupel will, he'll be on the SEC teleconference Wednesday. He'll be on Vol Calls Wednesday night. Thursday, he'll have his press conference. He'll probably get asked Thursday at that press conference about Keaton. And he'll probably say, well, we'll see where he's at on Friday, knowing that he won't speak to the media again before Saturday. That's kind of the way Heupel's handled pretty much every injury over the last 2 years. Those Thursday press conferences really are almost pointless to even drag the media out there. Yeah, because Heupel doesn't really answer any of those questions. So, I mean, and that's fine. I mean, I think I'm not picking on Josh Heupel. I think a lot of college football coaches are in that same category. But if Keaton doesn't play, I mean, Caleb Webb got a lot of run in that UTSA game and looked pretty good at times.
Scored a
Had his
touchdown.
first touchdown, yeah. So he'll probably get more action. I mean, really, he kind of looks ahead of Dante Thornton at this point. And you've seen Dante Thornton's abilities. Like, he's got the pure athletic ability. And look, I mean, we were on the field with this guy at the spring game. He's huge. He's long. He looks like an NFL wide receiver. It just takes a little bit of time to learn this offense. And it's probably never fair to really put the type of expectations that we put on him. But I think you'll start to see him become more of a factor as the season goes along. If Keaton's out, I mean, that's a huge opportunity. So if you get that chance, if you're Thornton to go out there ahead of Caleb Webb, you got to make the most of it, because you might not get that opportunity again if Caleb Webb continues to progress the way he is, which is great. I mean, that's what you want from that guy.
Hopefully, that if Keaton is out, hopefully, I think Webb will be an adequate replacement, and I think his potential is all there. I mean, his potential compared to the guys that you have, I mean, his ceiling is probably higher than anybody else you're probably putting on the field at the moment. Maybe Brew McCoy, just out of pure physicality. But out of anybody else, Webb probably has the highest ceiling in terms of his entire time at Tennessee. He may end up in the best spot out of any of the dudes that are currently in your starting rotation of wide receivers. But so I think you're fine there. Now, just in terms of injuries, I was trying to think, that was it. That was pretty much it. Some of the other wide receivers didn't play for a chunk of that second half, right? But it hopefully just precautionary. Nothing.
Yeah, I think John Campbell, I think they pulled out at one point, because I think Mincy was in there playing left tackle. I think he's going to be okay. I don't think anything major. I think really the concern over Milton, Ramel Keaton, and Cooper is kind of like your three main things you're looking at going into this game.
Yeah. So there's that. And so hopefully it all comes together, because
got to win this game.
Exactly. That's the toughest part out of all of this, is that you have all of these questions and all of these kind of moving parts that are coming into this, and you're not 100% confident in Milton in the way that you were with Hooker, and you're just, there's just a feeling around this game of, I think Tennessee may go in and kick South Carolina's butt. There is, without a doubt, there's a decently likely scenario where that happens, I think. I would give it maybe a 30% chance of it being a wipe the floor with these guys kind of blowout, especially if the crowd gets involved, Rattler gets shaken. But that other 70% from the 30% is a blowout there. That's where things can get a little dicier. Is it a shootout? Is it, close? You have to outlast them. Is it you're coming from behind? There's a lot of different ways that it could go. So let's just get to